So tagging is really critical because when you get your bill from the cloud provider, it's going to be a 50,000 foot view. It's really, this is how much you spent on compute. This is how much you spent on storage and all the other services that they offer. Here's how much you spent, but you can't really slice and dice that into, even really how much of that was my development environment versus how much of that was production.
And
And,
just for
and
our listeners, I mean, when you see this bill that comes in, it's not 3 lines. It's not
no,
5 lines. It's not
no.
10 lines. Describe this bill.
So the bill will be, there's two bills typically with the cloud. There's the PDF version, which is sort of a summary of what you've used, and it'll typically have region and then the service or resource that you consumed and what the charge was for that. And it may be hours, it may just be a blanket cost that goes against that resource, but you'll see that. And so depending on what your deployment looks like, you could have, a lot of pages to be looking at to try and figure out exactly what's going on there. But then that doesn't let you drill down, right? And so then there's the more detailed report, which is usually an Excel spreadsheet that will be, I've seen them as high as several million lines of resources that have been used. And how do you address that? Like, how do you look at that? Do you have names that you then have to concatenate or something like that to figure out exactly where that resource came from? But that's where tagging becomes really important because you can bring those tags into your bill and then you're able to use other dimensions to sort of categorize and figure out where is your money going and where are your opportunities for improvement from a spending standpoint
That's
located
great.
within that.
Thank
Um,
you.
I, I would add, though, Kevin, that within that, one of the things that you really want to look at is a tool. In all cases, the clouds have some really great budgeting and reporting tools built into them. But there are a lot of FinOps tools out there that allow you to get a different angle and a different perspective on that. And then also directly take from that tool into your own functional dashboards or presentations that you may have to give to upper management and present out the information that they need to see to make their informed decisions on what to do with the environment.
Perfect. Thank you. And one of the things I would just add to your comment about the size of the bill, it's not that you're necessarily consuming, or these are large organizations per se, but now you're operationally consuming resources that you would normally have just allocated to a capital expense in a previous world. And so you're turning these services on and off, and every time you do that, it instantiates a line on the bill, right? So
Yes.
you could be using the same service over and over and over again, and those are just additional lines on the bill. And that's why these things can grow so long, right?